about as the game is wrapping up, and we're jumping on here live. Hope you guys are having a good night. This was a ball game that they needed to see. They needed to get things out, and they needed to see, in particular, who can step up in the areas that we don't expect them to be stupendous in. We have a lot to go over. This is the breakdown for the Chiefs. This is a normal show that we do every post game. This is Saturday. We'll have another one for you tomorrow night, but glad you guys are here. I'm Ryan Tracy, the founder of Rogue Analytics, as well as RGR Football, NFL 33. You've heard me on Locked On everywhere, all kinds of places. We're going to go over what this means tonight. So, hey, let's get after it. Welcome to RGR Football. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It is the Breakdown Show post-game against the Commanders. I think the Chiefs really showed what they're capable of, and two guys stood out. They're really going to help Patrick Mahomes in this coming season. Guys that we've been talking about a lot as of late, especially with the emergence of Justin Watson. We'll get to him in a minute. See you guys starting to join the chat. When is the 53 cut? Tuesday it goes down to 80. And Twin, thank you for your question. It's a great one to start. Hey, Terry, hope you're doing well. You guys, we're going to let everybody get in here before we get super started on some of my notes. But to answer your question, Twin, goes down to 80 on Tuesday. It goes down to 53 the following Tuesday. So there is a little bit of room after they play their last preseason game because that's normally the huge cut down. This kind of tiered thing is a little bit different that they've done the last couple of years. I think that will help. And Doug, I like the way that you're thinking. We're going to get to a couple of your questions here in a minute. Now, normally, this is where I go over the big takeaways for my notes. I'm going to kind of split it in two tonight. We're still going to have the regular Sunday night show. So be back here at 6 Central. Because it's not after a ball game, it will be scheduled. Usually we go live right after the ball game, so you can always find us here. I know there are a lot of other channels going live at the same time, so hey, we'll see how they do keeping that up. It's always fun, and I have a lot of notes. And the big thing to take away is the two guys that are standing out as the fact that it's not just that they're useful. It's not just that Jody Fortson looks like he's back to normal. Is that they are legitimate weapons for Patrick Mahomes to use in this new offense. And Patrick talked about it on the sideline. And I thought that that was really the best way to break it down, that there's talent everywhere, and there's talent that makes matchups more difficult. Nothing showed you that more than the first touchdown to Jody Fortson, because it was just the fact that he was so sizable. He lined up as the outside wide receiver because he ran that in college. He can make that switch. He and Travis can go everywhere from inline wise all the way out to the very edges of formations and get those matchups against smaller, lighter, and honestly less lengthy DBs. That's really their advantage. It's going to help them. And I thought that that was great for Jody to make that turnaround. It was an outside shoulder throw, something we don't see a ton from Patrick, only when he's like on the scramble for sure. And Finn, I agree with you. Jody has arrived, and I think unfortunately he's going to set him up to be over there, on teams' radars now. Good, bad, or otherwise, I think that's important, and it is going to happen. Now, the bigger takeaway from me that I really liked was the fact the second touchdown, Jody had gained a little bit of leverage, but he had to fight. He had to use his body, shield off the defender, and that's, again, another level of maturity in making yourself the target that Patrick Mahomes wants to go to. That's what changes not only the ability that you have, but the variability that you have to get in Patrick's vision and get those targets. I think that's great for him, and I'm really excited for where he's going down the line. Tracy, welcome. Glad you're here. You guys, I'm stacking a couple questions. We'll get to those, and then we'll do the same thing tomorrow night. So I'm just giving you my live notes, and then I'll break down the actual takeaways tomorrow, same time, and then we'll do the Q&A on Monday, just like normal. Do have a Rogue Head Huddle for you. I'll get you that out tomorrow because there was some little glitch with the video concept. I had to re-edit it or reprocess it, so it'll be up tomorrow. And if you missed Big Chief Sean, go back and check that out tomorrow. He's going to have something for you on Fridays this year. Not the timing of the Sunday morning thing, but we're going to do that on Fridays, and we're going to have another special show for you on Fridays as well. A lot of content coming. Looks like Holly made it. Thank you, Miss Holly. Nice to see you. Glad everybody's available. 3s and 4s looking better this week versus last week. A bit. As an overall, sure. There are still places that I do have a little bit of concern. So we're going to get to that here in a little bit. Now, on to the second big emergence is Watson. The difference here was that Watson was playing with Patrick. It's one thing to make those plays with the 2s and with Bichelle and against 2s in particular. But here's Justin Watson, the guy that has not been, able to break into a 53 before. Even playing with Tom Brady. And if you saw the halftime show, we did it for Locked On Chiefs. I'm kind of hinting around that like there's a certain chemistry that even though you have 2 elite quarterbacks, different chemistry leads to different results. And you can say it for MVS, going from Aaron Rodgers to Patrick Mahomes. You can say it for Justin Watson, going from Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes. Who helps them emerge and look better? That's going to be the question. Ralph, I will get to your questions as well. I'm getting those stacked up, you guys. So I like Watson. I think, again, Watson goes back to one of my key takeaways that I started telling you guys about after the Super Bowl, and particularly after the draft, when we realized that they're going for more athleticism at the linebacker level in Leo Chenal, and they're going for a safety in Brian Cook that can do multiple things. It is about playing in between the hashes this year. Both of Justin Watson's touchdowns were either plays that he either entered and came back into and made the play in between the hashes, or in this one today where he crossed it and ran that offside corner. Those are plays that are stressing the defense in the middle, and that pulls everything to it. That's going to be important, and it's going to be a theme going forward. There's a lot that we have to look at. So everybody say hi to Stevie. He's in the house. Holly's here. We mentioned that. Tracy made it. Night Hunter's here. Cole Abe's here. Everybody, if you would hit the like button, I would appreciate it. If you're new and you've never heard of me before, this is RGR, Ryan going rogue. This is what I do. And if you would sub to the channel, I would very much appreciate it. There's a lot of great people in this community that are always on this channel. And on the channel, no matter who it is, whether it's me, whether it's Dan Harms, whether it's Seth Kaiser, whether it's Gary McKenzie, Big Chief Sean, Stevie Gooch, and Aaron, whoever it is, we're bringing you analysis all the time, all kinds of different ways. And that's really what this channel is about. Breaking headlines and that kind of thing, not exactly what we're doing. We're getting down to how the game is played and what you can take away from it. So I hope that you will enjoy that. Shout out to MT. Welcome to the memberships. We can get you into the Discord and all that kind of stuff. If you'll just email me over at rgrpodcasts@gmail. Let me throw that up on the screen for you, MT. I really appreciate the new members. There's a lot that we do for them, and I'm glad that you guys enjoy it because it goes a long way. Now, you can get all that by getting down there and hitting next to the subscribe is a join button. That's how you become a member. It should be pretty simple, and hopefully it should be consistent. It generally is. Other takeaways. L'Jarius Sneed with a PBU. Obviously, Lamb got the pick. A number of PBUs out there. I think Josh Williams played another really solid game. And like I said on Locked On Chiefs, I like what Williams is bringing, especially now that Fenton may be hurt. I'm concerned about Fenton, but I like having Josh Williams as the backup to him. And Williams is going to get there. I think what you've seen is the jump in the level of competition has kind of thrown him off just a bit. He's playing 80-90% of those snaps. He's staying in coverage. He's staying in phase. I think he looks really good. It's just the finishing. If he had finished that play today, he would have gotten the interception. If he had finished that play the other day, he would have at least gotten last week, against the Bears, he would have at least gotten a PBU. So, he's there. He's on the cusp of it. And so I think he's a guy that can be a starter for this roster in years to come. And he's going to play a pivotal role in being, I think, the fourth corner on this particular roster here this season. So we're going to go through, let's see, the GK stack. I'm going to break down George Karlaftis' sack today because it's very, very important in that it shows his old school game and what he's learning all in one play, and it's super important. I will break that down. Hopefully, Dan and I will get the all-22 this week. We're fingers crossed. If not, I'll have to show you from what's on the actual broadcast. But either way, I'll get it done for you guys. Okay, we are going to get into the questions real quick, and this is going to be like surefire, quick fire kind of thing here. If you watch Iron or Top Chef, you know what a quick fire is. We're going to get through these as fast as possible. Watson, Fortson make this team, right? Absolutely. Watson is now the 5, and it's pretty clear. I'm a big fan of Jerice Fountain. He's definitely the 6 because of the special teams, but I don't see any other wide receivers pushing for anything. So it is Watson and Fountain right now. Fortson is the tight end 2. It is not close. Noah Gray is the 3. Even if Blake Bell stays, they can't afford to take Jody Fortson off the field now. He is too much of a weapon in this offense where they have to spread the ball around. They need that second option. So I think he will overtake Blake Bell and anybody else. It should be Jody Fortson as the 2. Nice to see the first string defense shut out the teams the last 2 weeks. Yeah, Terry, it's a good start. And especially I thought the linebackers played great all the way around. Leo Chanel got in with the ones a little bit. Elijah Lee looked solid, although he did play it throughout. And it was interesting that while sprinkling in with Nick Bolton, Willie Gay were Chanel and Lee, it was Darius Harris and Jermaine Carter that played really with the 2s. So I think we're seeing a little bit of change there. And we're going to have to see how it all works out about who makes this roster. Unfortunately, Jack Cochran, Mike Rose are not pushing for playing time at this point. I don't know that they can make this roster. I think both of them should land on the practice squad. I think in the future, you could see them growing into somebody that they can use. Leo look a little lost. Not to me. I think there were a couple of plays where, in fact, even the play that he chased down the field, which is great hustle on him, he started to let up at first because he assumes, because he's used to other guys making the plays. And I think he's learning that, hey, I have to keep hustling all the time. But it was a hustle play down the field that got that done. I didn't feel like he was lost. I thought it was a little bit late to trigger from time to time. The run game, he looked great. I thought that was perfect. We'll see how he comes along. And I think there's plenty of good things to take away. How can one justify keeping Kano on the 53? They can't. There's just no way to do it. He's not to the caliber. Herring came in well before him today. Herring played better than him. I know he's going to be, statted with a PBU. The quarterback threw it at his head. He didn't even bat it out of the air. It was not due to anything that he did. It was because the quarterback couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And for those of you that were huge on Howell, I got a lot of static when I said a long time ago that I don't know if Howell can do this in the NFL. He doesn't look very good to me. We'll see if that changes at all. Let's see. Alex, could Watson be pushing for more playing time with MVS? I like what I see from him. I don't think so. MVS, Juju, and Hardman are the clear 1, 2, 3. It is not up for grabs. I think what's really nice, though, is when you have this situation where Juju's out, or you have a situation where MVS sprains an ankle for 2 weeks, you have a guy that, with Patrick, is a viable option that looks like he can do more than even Demarcus Robinson did, who had some great plays with Patrick. I know a lot of Tampa Bay fans will tell you, oh, he never put it together. He was not good enough to get it done. He wasn't with them. That doesn't mean it can't happen. So what I'm really encouraged by is Justin Watson started as just a speed guy, and now he's grown where he's running the routes as Patrick wants them. He's making himself available. And I think you see progression from Watson in this offense. That's what's important. Winners and losers. Great question, Micah, and I appreciate your effort and all your comments. Thank you. Folks, if you want to support the channel, go ahead and hit the super chat right now. Throw something at me, and I'll make sure I get you an answer. You can buy some gear in the RGR store. The new Chief of the North shirts are out. We have a couple of new ones coming for you as well, and hopefully I'll have some hats and other stuff ready when I get the new store off the ground, which is something that I'm working on in the 5 seconds of spare time I have every week. So I thought Colin Saunders was a big winner today. I don't care about that penalty. It was ridiculous. That was just the ref reacting to the head slap. When he got pushed, his head came down, and that makes him think that he grabbed the face mask. That's what it was. Colin looked spry. He came in right after Turk. Now, Turk, they started instead of Chris. I didn't think Turk showed everything that he had today. I don't think he was on today. I think Colin was. Colin played more against the 2s than the 1s, though. But Colin is definitely there. He's well ahead of Stallworth. And right now he's ahead of Danny Shelton, who played on first and second down and then came out. And that's perfectly fine because that's what Danny's there for, is first and second down. So right now it is Chris Jones, Noddy, Turk, Colin, and Danny Shelton. That's your 5. And I think they do keep 5. And that's why Josh Kano cannot fit onto this roster, because you can only keep 5 ends now. And Herring's going to be one of them. How did the backup O-line look to you? Absolutely terrible. the tackles in particular. The interior guys were all right. Ryder, Caliendo, Grumman looked fine. Like, not great, not bad, perfectly serviceable. The tackles look bad, and I am officially concerned at this point. Prince Tego, I will give you guys a little takeaway for tomorrow, a little hint. He played on both sides. Keep that in your hat, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. Ryan, you didn't like my Donnie Avery and MVS comparison. It's not that I didn't like it. I don't agree with it. That's okay. It's not that I don't like it. That's your observation and your feel. And honestly, right now, it's just preseason. So feel is really in the eye of a beholder. Maybe you're going to end up being right. I don't know. I seem to like it a little bit more than you do, and that's perfectly fine. Like, a no big deal. We'll see how it works out. Things will change, obviously, when they get into real regular season competition. So, I see what I see, you see what you see, and that's honestly, it's true in the league too. Every front office, every scout sees things a little bit differently. It just goes to show like how they adapt, and hopefully MVS will continue to adapt. That misread on where Patrick was going to go, I think that's also a little bit on Patrick understanding or hoping that he understands rather than working through some of that. Scramble drill is definitely difficult, and that's why Demarcus Robinson was here for so long, because he had that kind of innate, I get where Patrick's going to go, and sometimes that takes some time with other players. Doug, Watson and Gray look nice too. Absolutely. I think Gray made a nice adjustment on that ball. Now, I know he didn't get a lot of targets. I think it was just 2, actually, if I look at it. Hold on, I have it here, and I can confirm. But I think that Noah Gray ended up doing what he needed to do. And in the end, that's all you can really ask of him. Yeah, 1 target for 1 reception for 30 yards. And he had to come back to the ball and help his quarterback out. And that's the big takeaway, is he got in there and helped him. So, hey, that's really all you can ask, especially from a second-year player who's got Jody Fortson in front of him, as well as a Hall of Famer and Travis Kelce. Like, that's good development there. Folks, like and sub and hit the bell. Definitely become a subscriber. We're trying to get to 30, 40, 50,000 this year. During this season, we need every last one of you to join Rogue Nation, especially since you're already part of Chiefs Kingdom. It goes hand in hand. We have a lot going on, and we're going to keep going through you. Ralph, I kind of touched on Saunders. The penalty didn't bother me. The sack looked good. Again, it was against lower competition. He's got to continue to put it up. But I think a couple of you guys commented on Twitter as well. Colin looks like his athleticism is back. Like, he looks normal. I know it was not necessarily just the elbow that was bothering him last season. There was some lower body stuff too. That looks like it's over and done with. And so love that. I think, when they choose to drop a D tackle, I'd take Colin over Chris Jones in coverage in space, playing in his zone. I got to tell you. Now, Turk's nearly as athletic. He's not quite as lateral. So that becomes the thing. But both those tackles can drop pretty well. I think Colin's on here, and I think that's a really good sign, not only for him, but for the Chiefs and the staff. Are you concerned with the run D? It looked a little weak to me. Yeah, there were definitely gaps in there. Guys, I think, overplaying some things. I think somewhere in the confusion here is Colin's benefiting from being more aggressive. Turk Wharton's benefiting from being more aggressive. And that's all due to Joe Cullen and the new defensive line coach, a guy who will be on the short list to replace Steve Spagnuolo if and when Steve retires. That said, I think that is growing pains. That is normal for the preseason. I'm not terribly concerned about it. And Spagnuolo won't be either. To be quite frank, as long as they can put up pass rush and defend the ball at the point of contact, they're going to live with having a leaky run defense. They always have. It's just not what they're going to emphasize, because they feel like even a bad run defense is going to give them enough chances to get a stop on a given drive that they can help the offense out. So they're going to defend the pass first. It's Karlaftis is looking like a stone cold killer. Last week gets a terrible O-line, but that spin move, exactly. And that spin move is what's displaying his evolution, his step up into the big time. Hey, look, Gucci's in the house too. I'm just seeing the super chats, Gooch. Sorry about that. Let's see. Oh, Jared, you nailed one of my observations that I'm saving for tomorrow. We'll talk Darian Kennard tomorrow, you guys. I'm trying to keep it positive tonight. Miss Hallie, I got yours too. We're going to kind of rush through these here, you guys. Usually it's about 20-30 minutes on the breakdown show, and it is post-game. So usually it's a Sunday breakdown. Obviously tonight is Saturday. It'll be Monday. It'll be Thursday. It'll be whenever they play. And I generally try to go live right as the clock sounds. That's the goal anyway. But yeah, Karlaftis today he looked like he put Purdue and Kansas City together today a little bit and showed a developing skill set that he's going to have to continue to expand on, but it worked. It also helped that the play was particular, but we're going to go over that in depth, and I'm going to break that down for you. I think what I'm going to do this season, Dan's going to have the primary film breakdown every week. I'm going to do like my play of the week, and I'm going to give you step by step, like I always do, about what else is going on that facilitates whoever is making that play to get that done. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. I certainly am. It's my fun part. Donnie, thank you for the shout out and the support for our channel, especially shouting out Noah Gray. Yes, and good for him. I think he got a little bit buried last year. I think he got a little overwhelmed, and now he's coming back, and I'm really happy to see that, because if they can run 13 personnel, that's 1 back and 3 tight ends, they're going to have mismatches all day long, and that's what Jody showed you today. That's really what's going to be key. Who getting cut, Ryan? What's your thoughts? I don't think Stallworth makes it. I know he was an acquisition. I'm not sure he makes it. They're certainly at this point not scared to let go of guys that they've invested in. Lonnie Johnson says that out loud. Man, I'm not sure that Najee Johnson's going to make it. I know they had been testing him, but Boodle got all the 2 nickel snaps today. So I see that as a change here. I don't know how long that's going to last. Who else? I don't know if Roderick Johnson's going to be even considered. It looked today like Jaron Christian was again above him, as well as Prince Tegawanaga was above him as well. So I think the guy who started out hot a couple weeks ago is now fading pretty badly. We're going to see what happens. Michael, was front 4 one of the best versus run? Are you concerned about the run game today? It's what I expected versus Washington. Yeah, I mean, they are good, but I got to tell you, it's one thing to play a stout defensive front and not get the yardage, but man, they were giving up penetration a lot. They were getting walked back into the backfield a lot. I was not happy with it, and I won't say that I'm lighting the funeral pyre here, but they got to get something corrected here, and maybe it is just that it's preseason, but I do want more. I need to see them with these group of linemen. They need to move dudes off the ball, and that has to be it, even when you're playing somebody stout like the Washington front. I don't like Carter looks, though. I mean, Mo, you're not wrong. He's definitely not the athlete that most of the other linebackers are. I mean, Chanel, all the rookies, Chanel, Cochran, Rose, they're all better athletes. So it's the fact that Jermaine has played a lot of special teams, and he started for Carolina last year. So it's the experience factor. I think Lee obviously has surpassed him. I just don't know where he and Darius line up. And so that's kind of where I'm interested to see what happens here in this next week. Why is the run defense so lackadaisical? Again, it's not for a lack of effort in my mind. It's a lack of reps and sound gap discipline, much as it has been over the last few years. But now it's a different, younger group, and so they're still working on that. I think I see it as more of a work in progress than a failure. I don't think that it's done. Let's see. Terry, I got yours. Okay, we're going to call that the end of the list, folks. We're going to work through this. And then the rest, I'm going to give you my longer-term breakdowns and takeaways tomorrow night for the breakdown, which is at normal time at 6 Central. And then the Q&A back on Monday night, like always. Why is every QB overlooking Sky? It's not that it's overlooking. I think that he faced better coverage today. I didn't see him getting as much separation. And I think, honestly, they know what they have in Sky. I think the Watson experiment was, you really want to see what he can bring you. And I'm glad they did, because I think he's got more to offer than we initially, and I especially initially thought. Longmore, thank you very much. Yep, there's the appreciation for Saunders. Yep, I like it. And I hope that he can continue it. He can't be happy with this level. He has to continue to push through, because if Chris misses any time this season, he had a wrist last year that held him back. Now with the back issue, Turk will be the first one, but that means Collins got to be in on rushing downs, because you got to take Noddy out. So with Chris out and Noddy out, it's Turk and Colin. Colin has to be able to bring the pass rush all year long. And that's something that he's been banged up over the last couple of years. So he's got to fix that. Thank you for the support, Longmore. Dan's got to be happy. I think Powell caught everything thrown at him today. Yeah, he went out of bounds once, but other than that, he looked pretty consistent. He and Crum, I thought, looked pretty decent together. So I see them both on the practice squad, and I think that's perfectly fine. I'll give you guys some more practice squatters tomorrow. That I just got to make sure that I'm not overlooking something. Mr. Gooch, thank you for being here, buddy. You guys can see Gooch. He and Stevie, the huddle with Jason Dunn, is coming up in the morning. I didn't get that. There was a problem in the processing, so I had to redo it. So I didn't get it done before kickoff, and I figured we'll just save it for tomorrow. Along with my bring back Bo Pete stance, I have a Pacheco and McKinnon for starter stance. Oh, okay. That's fine. Hey, it's going to be a committee. I don't care who starts. Whoever starts hot is what I'm looking for at this point. So I'm interested to hear more about that, folks. And you can hear that on the Roguehead Huddle from Gooch. Another one. I just love you going, Rogue Gooch. Glad that you're here. Folks, if you don't know us, I'm Ryan. This is my channel. The crew's getting bigger all the time with Dan, Seth, Gary, Big Chief Sean, Gooch, Keys, and Aaron. I don't think either of the Morrows are in the house tonight. That's okay. Everybody's got family stuff going on. It is Saturday night, and it's preseason, so we're all good. But lots of folks in here. And Jared, I am concerned with Kennard. I'm not sure what the future holds for him. I'm going to think about that tonight, and he's one of the guys I'm going to talk about tomorrow night. So be on the lookout. I will probably record that a little bit earlier just because I want to make sure that I'm not overreacting. So be prepared. Steve, thanks for joining the membership. It's good to see you. Should we be worried about Sky's lack of production today? I don't think so at all. It's just about the particular matchups, and I think Patrick was looking – I thought Patrick played with great tempo today. He was looking to get the ball out, and he did. And he was looking to spread it around, and he did. I'm not concerned about anything. And quite frankly, we don't need to be concerned about Sky because he should be a supplemental player. It's going to be Hardman and Juju and MVS that are your starters. They're going to be targeted the most. It won't be till mid-season that you start to see Sky get – I don't know if he'll ever get to double-digit targets. He will start to eat into snap counts for the other receivers, but I think it's going to take a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. He's going to be a nice, like, oh, you think you have our three guys covered? Well, here comes Sky, and put it over the top. And then you can go back and you can have Noah and Jody and Travis on the field. I really like the versatility that they have going. Ryan, I was thinking of you when I yelled, we love our fullback Mike Burton before training camp last. Yes, Mike is a good dude. He's happy to be a Chief, and he's really happy to be a fullback. I hope that Andy will use him more in the regular season this year. We're going to have to see. Dave Tope is going to use him, so he's going to be on the field. It's just the offensive side. Mike's really enthusiastic about playing this game and playing this game with this team. So now I don't know if I'm going to be able to get Mike back on before the regular season. We talked about it. We'll see if we can do it. But Mike's a big fan of this channel, hanging out with us, and for all of you guys, really giving him the time. It's tough for fullbacks to get a lot of love these days, and he really felt it from you guys, so cheers. Holly, I'm not sure what that was about, but thank you for the support. And there's a membership tab that has all the member videos. If you're a new member, it's in the top row. There's also a member playlist that is fourth down, I think, fourth or fifth. And so all the member videos go into that too. And so there's two ways to get to the content that is just for the members. Draft picks, you're in the live streams. Rookies, they get the added content, the extra videos. Starters get the live stuff, and we go on and up until you're Gooch level. And that's when it all kicks in. Let's see, couple more from David and Les. We'll get those as we wrap her up. Let's see. Could we see 4 or more receivers get 800 plus yards? Dylan, that's a definite possibility. You could easily see once Sky kicks in, I think there is a definite possibility because it's not just the number of targets. It's the fact that he's not as fast as McCole. He's not as shifty as Tyreek, but he's very, very athletic. And Yak was his best attribute in college. Okay, second best. He caught everything that was thrown his way because he's got enormous hands. But his Yak was really good. And so I do think that even though he might get less targets and less possibilities, he's going to get the yardage. He's also going to get a lot of the jet stuff. So that won't go towards receiving yards, but it will go through all-purpose yards. And that's going to be important as well. I really like what they're going to be able to do. Thank you for the support, Dylan. I appreciate you. Terry, nice to see Cook with the ones. Yeah, I'm feeling really good about him. And shout out to Deion Bush. He played better than I expected today. Cook is clearly the 3, but Bush is clearly the 4 now. Zane and Key have been relegated to the back. I still like Zane Anderson, and I think he can make it to the practice squad, but I don't think he lands on the 53 this year. I was concerned about the O-line run blocking all game long. Yep, I agree with you. I was even more concerned about the offensive tackles blocking ability in the pass game in the whole second half. Honestly, they don't have a tackle that deserves to be a swing on this roster right now. Not one. I think they have to go out and get another one. So that's where it is. I'll break down the individuals, and I know you guys want to talk about Kennard. I will do that for you tomorrow. Absolutely. And Philip, very good point. We'll get yours here in a second. Lev, thank you. Pringle, Watkins, Robinson. How many of those guys would ever take over? Would you take over Watson this year? Sammy Watkins, definitely. I would take over Justin Watson. No health guarantee. Okay, well, then there goes Sammy. What does that say about the wide receiver depth? That's exactly it. Is before you had Tyreek, maybe you had Hardman, and then you had a bunch of dudes that were way down here. Now you have not so high, but now you have 3, 4, 5 guys right here. And so as a fivesome, this wide receiver group is better than last year's because of the guys you're talking about. Is the top as good? No, it's just not. Tyreek, there's only one Tyreek Hill. But 1 through 5, this group is better, and that is going to help Patrick make sure that he always has someone to throw to. That's going to help this offense just not sputter out like we saw it do sometimes last year. Steven, thank you very much. Mike Burns is a new member of the RGR crew one day. I hope so. Mike and I will talk about a number of things. He's got some future plans as well, so we'll just have to see how it falls out. But I'm guessing you'll see him around for a while. That's just my thought. Thank you, Steven. Jalen Watson was pretty impressive. You're right, Philip. I put in my notes that he also, along with Josh Williams, made a jump from last week to this week, and I like what he brought. What you saw him do in the first half in the end zone when he PBU'd that guy, he's better in the red zone, in my opinion, because Jalen's biggest weakness is, much like Breezy and much like Sean Smith before him, is deep speed. If somebody can get past his initial jam and can run away from him, he's in trouble. But when you have the sideline and the inline as your allies, I think that's where Jalen plays his best. He's physical, he's got the length, and he can do what he did there. So I think it's about playing in the middle of the field that's going to be his hiccup, but he does look like he's improving during this camp, and that's all you can ask from a 7th-round pick. I think it's great. Steven, again, thank you very much. My bold prediction, Kelsey Fortson will be the best tight end combo in the league. You'll get no argument from me. There's like 17 viable tight ends in Baltimore, but you'll get no argument from me. I think Anderson likely could give him a run for their money, but I'll bet you that's the best. These are the 4 best 2-1-2 punches right there. So best 4-1-2. You guys know what I meant. David, thank you very much for your support. Appreciate you very much. And last one, Spards, glad you made it into the chat. Thanks for being here tonight. All 400 and plus of you guys in here tonight. Numbers don't always tell the tale, but thank you. It's just nice to have so many folks that want to participate. I know you have choices here in what media you take in, and I try to keep it short and tight so you guys can enjoy other channels like Cole's and guys that deserve your attention too. Tight end room looks legit. You're absolutely right. And Saunders is becoming a beast. Spards, from your lips to God's ears, I think they're going to get it done. I really like where Colin's at, and I hope he continues to do that. Thank you for your support. Folks, grab the RGR shirts. I got a special shirt to show you tomorrow night. The new Rogue Nation ones in the hoodies are super nice, and I'm really happy with the way that they came out. And, thanks for all the super chats tonight. All you new members, make sure you go back and check the member playlist so you can get what you're getting. A lot going into it tonight. I'll be back 6 Central tomorrow night. I'll have further takeaways from the breakdown. It'll say breakdown part 2 or whatever. And normally the breakdown show is just post game when we get to the regular season. And then we'll have the normal Q&A on Monday night. So give Holly a hand, and Night Hunter and Gary and all the regulars around here, from Gooch and Stevie and Aaron and Liz, me, Dan, Seth, Gary, Big Chief Sean, for all of us. Thank you for your time tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll get back with you tomorrow. Have a good one, and I'll talk to you then.